On December 25th, the final portal closes. This isn't some symbolic date chosen at random. This isn't another one of those spiritual predictions flooding the internet every single week. This is the closing of an energetic cycle that began in the first days of December, and that right now, in this exact moment, is demanding from you a decision that no one else can make in your place. The Divine Feminine is being called on this December 25th to a movement she's been postponing for months, maybe years, and that completely determines whether the union with the twin flame will happen in the coming months, or whether it's going to take much longer than you imagine. But here's what almost nobody tells you. The movement being asked of you isn't toward him. It's not sending that message you've rehearsed 1,000 times. It's not making one more gesture to prove you care. The movement is in the opposite direction, and that's exactly why it's so scary, because it goes against everything you've been conditioned to believe about love, surrender, and soul connection. If you stay until the end, you'll understand why the Divine Feminine needs to move first, what this movement means in practice, and most importantly, why the portal closing at midnight on December 25th won't open again the same way anytime soon. December 25th carries an archetypal weight that transcends any specific religious belief. It's the day when, symbolically, the divine is born in the human, where spirit meets matter, where something that was in gestation finally manifests in the physical world. For twin flames, this archetype of divine birth resonates particularly intensely because the entire journey is about exactly that, bringing into the physical plane a connection that exists first in the subtle planes of the soul. But what few understand is that this birth, this materialization, can only happen when certain internal conditions have been completely satisfied. It's not about worthiness. It's not about how long you've waited or how much inner work you've done. It's about a frequency shift so deep that it alters the magnetic field around you. And this shift needs to happen first in the feminine, because she's the one who creates the field where union becomes possible or impossible. Throughout the entire month of December, you probably felt this intensity building. Maybe you had more vivid dreams with your flame. Maybe you felt unexplainable waves of emotion. Maybe you noticed synchronicities multiplying around you. All of this wasn't coincidence. It was your soul preparing you for this exact moment, for this final choice that can only be made now, before the portal closes completely. The portal closing on December 25th isn't a window that's going to reopen tomorrow or next week. Energetic portals are specific moments where the veil between dimensions gets thinner, where intentions materialize more easily, where transformations that would normally take months can happen in days. When a portal like this closes, energy returns to normal levels, and that acceleration that was available stops being accessible in the same way. This doesn't mean the union can't happen after, but it means it will require much more time, much more work, much more patience. It's like missing a flight. You can still reach the destination, but you'll need to wait for the next connection, and you don't know exactly when it'll be available. And here's what makes this portal particularly crucial. It's not asking you to do more. It's asking you to stop doing what you've been doing. It's asking you to let go, to step back, to retreat to your own center of power in a way you may have never done completely before. Because everything you've tried until now, all the strategies, all the movements in his direction, all the efforts to prove the connection's worth, created an energetic field of pursuit. And that field is exactly what prevents the union from materializing. The Divine Feminine has a specific function in twin flame dynamics that isn't about physical gender, it's about energetic polarity. In every twin soul connection, there's one soul carrying more feminine energy and another carrying more masculine energy, regardless of the bodies they inhabit. The feminine is the magnetic pole, the one creating the attraction field. The masculine is the electric pole, the one responding to that field. When the feminine is in her natural power, she doesn't chase, doesn't run after, doesn't try to convince. She simply establishes herself in her own completeness and allows or denies the masculine's approach. Like a flower that doesn't chase the bees but blooms so magnificently that they come to her naturally. But most women on the twin flame journey have completely inverted this polarity. They're using masculine energy, trying to make it happen, trying to control the timing, trying to conquer through action. And the more they do this, the more the masculine pulls back, not because he doesn't love, but because energetically he feels something's inverted, that the natural attraction field has been replaced by a pressure field. The portal that's closing is offering one last opportunity in this cycle for you to correct this inversion, for you to return to your natural polarity. And the only way to do that is through a movement that the mind might interpret as giving up. but that the soul recognizes as radical empowerment. You've probably heard 1,000 times that you need to focus on yourself, that you need to work on self-love, that you need to live your own life. But hearing and embodying are completely different things. The brutally honest truth is that no matter how often you say you're focused on yourself, a significant part of your energy is still energetically orbiting around him. You're still compulsively checking his social media, still rehearsing imaginary conversations, still making choices thinking about how he might react, still measuring your day's success by the presence or absence of signs from him. And as long as this monitoring energy keeps being active, you're not really in your own center. You're at the periphery of his life, waiting, watching, reacting. The movement the portal is asking for is a radical energetic cut. It's not about blocking, it's not about making drama, it's not about communicating to him that you're pulling away. It's about an inner retreat so deep that you stop sending any energy in his direction, any obsessive thought, any fantasy about your future together, any need to know how he's doing or what he's doing. It's about bringing 100% of your energy back into your own body, into your own life, into your own dreams and projects. And this is infinitely harder than it sounds, because this pursuit energy, even if it's just mental and emotional, has become an addiction, a way to fill the void, a way to feel connected to something bigger than yourself. Deep psychology shows us that humans have a natural tendency to project onto others what they haven't managed to develop in themselves. When you look at your twin flame and see in him the answer to your loneliness, the solution to your feeling of incompleteness, the remedy for all emotional wounds, you're projecting. You're placing in him functions that are yours, responsibilities that belong to your own individuation journey. And as long as these projections are active, the union can't happen in a healthy way, because you wouldn't be entering the union as someone complete seeking complementarity. You'd be entering as someone broken seeking repair. And relationships based on the need for repair always become toxic, always create dynamics of savior and victim, always end in disappointment because nobody can fill the voids that exist inside another person. The work that needs to be done before union is to fill your own voids, to become whole on your own, to internally develop the qualities you're seeking in the other. And this portal is giving you one last chance in this cycle to do exactly that, to stop looking outside and start building inside. Maybe you're feeling fear right now. Fear that if you really let go, if you really stop thinking about him, if you really invest all your energy in yourself, he's going to forget you. He's going to move on with someone else. The connection will be lost forever. This fear is completely understandable, but it's based on a fundamental illusion about how soul connections work. If he really is your twin flame, if a true connection exists at the soul level, nothing you do or don't do can destroy that. The connection doesn't depend on you maintaining contact, on you making yourself present, on you reminding him of the existence of you two. The connection exists at a level that completely transcends the physical plane. And when the right moment comes, when both are truly ready, it will manifest regardless of external circumstances. But if you keep trying to force, keep trying to control, keep trying to make it happen before the right timing, you're actually delaying the process. You're creating resistance where there could be natural flow. And what the portal is asking is that you trust the truth of the connection enough to release it completely, to free any need for control, to accept that what's yours will come to you at the right time without you needing to chase. During the last months, especially during December, you went through deep layers of emotional clearing. You probably relived old pains, confronted abandonment patterns, looked at rejection wounds that come from way before this specific connection. This whole process wasn't random, it was preparation for this exact moment. Because you can't enter a conscious union carrying all these unhealed wounds, hoping the other will heal them. You need to have done the work of recognizing these wounds, of welcoming them, of healing them as much as possible. So that when union happens, you're not projecting the absent father, the critical mother, the first love who betrayed you, onto this person in front of you. Twin flames function as perfect mirrors. They reflect back everything that's still unresolved within you. And if you haven't done the inner work first, union becomes a battlefield, where each one is fighting against their own ghosts projected onto the other. The movement being asked of you today is to recognize that you've done enough work, that you've reached a point of emotional maturity where you can sustain a deep connection without losing yourself in it. And that now the next step isn't doing more inner work thinking about him, it's simply living fully the life you've built for yourself. The concept of individuation is central here. Individuation isn't about becoming selfish or independent in the sense of not needing anyone. It's about becoming a complete individual who has their own values, their own dreams, their own identity that doesn't depend on anyone's validation. Many women on the twin flame journey haven't fully individuated yet. They still measure their worth by how he responds. They still define success by his presence in their life. They still think they'll only be truly happy when union happens. And this lack of individuation creates an emotional dependency that's felt energetically by the masculine as suffocating pressure. He unconsciously feels that getting closer means being responsible for her happiness, means having to fill a void he knows isn't his job to fill, and that makes him pull back even more. The individuated feminine, on the other hand, emits a completely different frequency. She's already happy, already fulfilled, already living fully. Union would be a wonderful addition to her life, but not a necessity for her to feel complete. And this frequency of completeness is irresistibly magnetic, because it signals to the masculine that he can approach without fear of being sucked into an emotional black hole, that he can offer his love without it being interpreted as an obligation to save or complete. On December 25th, you're being called to make a decision that will define the next months of your journey. The decision isn't about him. It's about you. It's not about the connection. It's about your relationship with your own life. The question the portal is asking isn't, do you still believe he's your twin flame? The question is, are you willing to live fully, to be completely happy, to bloom magnificently, even if he never shows up the way you imagined? And how you answer this question, not with words but with energy, with concrete choices, with where you place your focus and attention in the coming days, determines whether you cross through this portal or stay on the other side waiting for the next one. The answer that opens the portal isn't yes, but it's not. I'll try. It's not I want to, but I'm scared. The answer that opens the portal is an unconditional yes to your own life, a radical commitment to your own happiness, an unshakable decision to never abandon yourself again in the name of any connection, no matter how sacred it seems. Many people confuse this movement back to themselves with creating emotional distance, with closing the heart, with giving up on love. But it's exactly the opposite. What's being asked of you isn't to stop loving. It's to love in a mature way instead of a codependent way. Mature love doesn't need guarantees, doesn't demand immediate reciprocity, doesn't measure every gesture to see if it's being matched. Mature love gives because it's its nature to give, not because it expects something in return. And when you love this way, from inner abundance instead of lack, the very act of loving fills you, regardless of the other's response. You can feel deep love for your twin flame and at the same time be completely focused on your own life, completely committed to your own happiness, completely open to life surprising you in ways you didn't plan. Actually, it's only when you reach this place that true love becomes possible, because before that what existed wasn't love, it was need disguised as love, attachment disguised as spiritual connection. The divine masculine is going through his own process right now, but his process is different. While the feminine is being called to retreat, to return to her own center, the masculine is being pushed to leave his emotional comfort zone, to confront fears of vulnerability, to admit feelings he's been repressing. But he can't make his movement while he feels you're waiting, monitoring, energetically pressuring. The presence of your expectation creates a resistance in him that prevents him from moving naturally. It's like trying to make a plant grow faster by pulling on the leaves. You'll only damage the plant. His growth needs to happen in his own time, without external pressure. And the only way to remove that pressure is for you to genuinely let go, genuinely return to yourself, genuinely stop making his life and his choices the center of your attention. When you do that, when you really pull all your energy back, something extraordinary happens in the field between you. He feels the absence of pressure, feels an empty space where there used to be expectation, and that emptiness creates a curiosity, a questioning, an inner movement in him that wasn't possible before. But what if he never moves? What if you do all this, pull all the energy back, focus completely on yourself, cross through the portal, and he simply doesn't show up? That's the question that haunts every woman on the twin flame journey, and it's the question that needs to be answered with total honesty before you can really cross through. The truth is, you have no guarantees. You can't control his choices. You can't force his awakening. You can't make his soul be ready before it's time. All you can control is yourself, your own choices, your own energy, your own life. And the portal's invitation is that you choose to live fully now. Not in some hypothetical future when he's finally ready. It's that you stop putting your life on hold. Stop postponing dreams. Stop holding your breath until he shows up. Because even if he never shows up the way you imagined,